Welcome along to the horseracing.net preview of Saturday's racing action, focusing as we always do on the ITV7 in particular. Now, we've had plenty of technical problems today on the channel. This is actually the third straight take in a row that I'm doing this, so everything feels like Groundhog Day at the moment. So if you do enjoy this stuff, please do like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. It vindicates having to do this for a third time. That might be a clue as to who we're going to talk about in a moment. We're going to be looking at all of the racing taking place on ITV. It's the first time that we've done this article that all of the races will be jumps races. It's a sign of the times. Halloween, of course, tomorrow, very much now heading into the jump season proper. We've got racing from Ascot, Wetherby and Down Royal for you to savour. And the feature race is the 320 at Wetherby. It's the Charlie Hall Chase, a Grade 2 race, very much seen as an early season pointer for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. And there's some really big names in this year's renewal. The headline is Cyrname. He's the 9-4 favourite at the time of recording. He's the joint highest rated chaser in training alongside Alboon Photo. And to put it quite simply, if he runs to his best, he wins. Now, you'll cast your mind back to his finest hour, you'd say, when beating Altior 12 months ago. That was at Ascot in the 1965 chase. Things haven't quite gone to plan since, and we haven't seen him since, suffering a really heavy fall when beaten in the Ascot chase back in February. The signs are that he is okay. Paul Nicholls was looking to get a run into him before the pandemic back in April time at Sandown. So you would think that he will arrive here completely unscathed, but he is likely to need this more than most years, you'd think, on the back of a pretty nasty fall. And there's plenty, I think, to mean that he's worth taking on here. There are concerns about the trip. He's had just one try so far over 3 miles. That came in the King George at Kempton. And there is also a question mark about his ability to run left-handed as well. His best performances have come at right-handed tracks. He's got a little bit to prove here, Cyrname. And at the prices, I think it's worth taking him on. And the horse I'm going to do it with is Vinndication. Now, he's been very well backed during the week. He was 4-1 when I wrote the preview for the Charlie Hall Chase. By the time I finished it, he was 10-3, 100-30. He's now 5-2, very well backed for Kim Bailey. He's pretty lightly raced for his age as a 7-year-old, but when he does run, he runs very well. There are I wouldn't say question marks. There is a little cloud hanging over him as well, a left-handed cloud. His trainer says that's more of a coincidence than anything, that most of his starts have come at right-handed tracks. And he ran a brilliant race to finish 4th in the Ultima when last seen at the Cheltenham Festival. That came at a left-handed circuit, so I don't think Wetherby's going to cause him any problems. He's very smart when we do see him. He was a Grade 2 winner at Ascot as a novice in December 2018, and he runs well fresh as well. He was a deeply impressive winner of the Sodexo Gold Cup off top weight last year on this day. He'd strictly have something to find with Cyrname on the form if both of them run to the peak, but I think there's every reason to think that Vinndication is going to be more ready for this than most. He gets the vote for me to take this in the Charlie Hall. It's Vinndication. Okay, hope this is still recording. It's cut out at this stage the last twice, and I haven't known because of something of a one-man mission, but we'll plough on. Over to Ascot. Starts the day. It's the 155. This is the tote.co.uk handicap chase over 2 miles and a furlong. And this race produced one of the most dramatic finishes of the entire season last year. Diego de Charma won. There was a huge incident at the final flight though. He darted left. He took Capeland with him. Capeland was disqualified because he didn't technically jump the fence. Didn't complete the course as a consequence. I think he finished 9th but was thrown out. He's back this year, Capeland, to put things right. He carries top weight. Each of the last 2 winners of this race have done that, carried top weight. And I think he's got every chance of winning here. He bounced back from that disappointment when winning a similar race at Ascot 3 weeks later. Struggled in graded company since. I think we can write those runs off. He'll arrive here fresh for an inform yard. I think there's plenty of room for manoeuvre off his mark of 150. Appeals to me as the class act here. Probably been the plan for him, this Capeland. I think he'll win the 155. Over to Wetherby now for the 210. This is the Bet365 Mares Hurdle. It's over 2 miles. To put it very, very simply, Verdana Blue is going to take all of the beating. If you go back to 2018-19, she had a wonderful campaign, didn't she? 4 wins, including a Grade 1 success. If she's anywhere near that level here, she wins. She hasn't quite lived up to those levels since. She hasn't won since, but she's been holding her form really well. She's run really well on the level over the summer. She was second at Royal Ascot. She was third in the Ebor. She was beaten at a short price over hurdles at Kempton earlier this month. But that came against the boys, and I think she was in a pretty hot renewal as well. Silver Streak is no mug. Beat her fair and square that day. Back against her own sex here. She's 7-4 on. Can't see her being beaten. Over to Down Royal now for the 225. This is the Ladbrokes Champion Chase. It's a Grade 1 contest, and the other race being held on Saturday that can be seen as an early season pointer for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Now, this race is one that's dominated by Gigginstown. They've won each of the last 7 runnings, and the favourite is Delta Work. And he'll have a serious chance of running to his best. He enjoyed a brilliant campaign last year, won twice at Grade 1 level, and then was 5th in the Cheltenham Gold Cup. But he very much needed the run in this race last year. There's no doubt that Gordon Elliott could get him ready for this if needs be. I think he'll very much come on for the run here. He's 7-4 favourite, so I think at the prices it could be worth taking him on at a slightly bigger price with Presenting Percy. Only slightly, but he's a fascinating runner for his new trainer, Gordon Elliott. We know all about Presenting Percy. He was a brilliant winner of the RSA Chase back in 2018. Hasn't quite lived up to that potential since, but we know he's talented. He was strangely campaigned in 18-19. He never really got going last season, but we know he's a very, very good performer on his day. And I thought he ran perfectly well in the Cheltenham Gold Cup. He fell 2 out, went 7th. He was still very much in contention though that day. And I think there is still some unlocked potential in Presenting Percy. If anybody can get that out of him, it is Gordon Elliott. He's run well fresh in the past and looks the bet at a slightly bigger price, 11-4, to cause Delta Work plenty of trouble and win this. So Presenting Percy, the bet in the 225. Over to Wetherby now for the 3-mile Bet365 hurdle. Grade 2 contest this, registered as the West Yorkshire Hurdle, 9 due to go to post. And this generally is contested by a classy stayer or two each year. And we have the reigning Stayers Hurdle winner here in Lisnager Oscar for the Rebecca Curtis team. Caused a 50-1 shock, of course, last year. He's 3-1 second favourite. If he runs to that sort of level here, he'll be very difficult to beat, but that was very much a standout effort. It'd be interesting to see how he deals with the mantra of being defending champion. Roxana, she's a really likeable mare, the 8-year-old for the Dan Skelton team, 5-2 at the moment, very much worth considering. Few in here, Holston, another one to consider, but I think the way to go is with Next Destination, a fascinating runner for the Paul Nicholls team. Haven't seen him for 920 days. He was last seen winning a Grade 1 at Punchestown as a novice in 2018. That's for the Willie Mullins team. He is a very smart performer on his day. He has to overcome a long absence here, but if anyone can get him fit for it, it is Paul Nicholls. He's got the potential, I think, to be a key player in this division this term. Next Destination. It's a wide open looking staying division at the moment. He will undoubtedly come on for this run, but I think he's a very smart performer. He's lightly raced for an 8-year-old. There could be more to come from him yet in this sphere. Next Destination looks a good bet at 9-2 to make a winning reappearance. Okay, over to Ascot now for the Trio of 5. This is the Sodexo Handicap Hurdle. It's over a mile, 7.5 furlongs, 10 due to go to post. Wide open looking race this, as you'd expect. Kid Commando, the 70 favourite for the Anthony Honeyball team. But for me, the bet is with Malaya. She gets the vote to strike here. Again, for the Paul Nicholls team, I think they're going to have a really good day tomorrow. Now, Malaya hasn't won since striking in the 2019 Imperial Cup at Sandown, but she took a big step back in the right direction, I thought, when last seen. She was a pretty decent second in a similar sort of race here in February over a similar distance. She was well held that day, but a firm step back in the right direction. She's now down to a competitive mark as well, just £2 higher than when winning the Imperial Cup. This has probably been in the mind for a while for Paul Nicholls. She's run well fresh in the past, Malaya. The yard are really in form at the moment. Bryony Frost takes the ride. There's a lot to like about Malaya. I think she can take this for the Nicholls team. We spoke about the Charlie Hall Chase, so we're going to go last but not least to the Sodexo Gold Cup. This is the 340 at Ascot, the feature race over there, and this is as wide open as you'd expect. Won last year by Vinndication. landed a gamble when winning this really, really emphatically by 5 lengths. Favourites this time around, joint favourites are Comanche Red and Whatmore, 5-1 joints for Chris Gordon and Henry Daly teams respectively. Both deserve consideration. Black Corton, he'll be popular for the Paul Nicholls team, has to carry top weight though. Will have to defy a mark of 161 if he's going to be successful here. Has to give in excess of £9 the entire field. That is a really difficult ask, I think, but Frodon managed it last week. He's really likeable, Black Corton. He will be on the premises. Can't see him winning though. Worth mentioning Mike Bite. We know all about him. He was a top class performer in his day. Looks to me like he's lost all love for the game, but great to see him still in good shape and performing here. And if he was anywhere near the horse of old, he'd have a chance off a mark of 152. Mr. Malarkey, he beat Black Corton over at Kempton back in February, just £4 higher here. Got to consider him for the Colin Tizard team. But I think the way to go here is with Blaklion, who looks really interesting at about 10s, 12-1 for the Dan Skelton team. Now, he's a really lightly raced type, this 11-year-old Blaklion. And hasn't won since romping home in the 2017 Beecher Chase at Aintree. But he's had his problems since, injury troubles. We haven't seen him since he finished 4th over hurdles at Haydock back in February 2019, 5th over hurdles. So he's got a long layoff to defy here after an injury. But he's in the hands of Dan Skelton, as I've said. He's been bought by Darren Yates, and he's able to take his chance here off a mark that's £4 lower than for his last success. That's really competitive here because he is a smart type on his best. He's a very smart staying chaser, Blaklion. He was long touted as a potential Grand National horse. He certainly showed those credentials when finishing 4th a few years ago, won the Beecher in really good style. And the ship has probably flown now for the Grand National with Blaklion, but I think he can prove himself to be a smart chaser on a very good mark here and take this for the Dan Skelton team. Okay, that was the weekend preview here on horseracing.net. I'm going to go now and check it's recorded. Fingers crossed it has, or I'll be a very upset man. If you do enjoy these, do like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at horseracing.net, and do check out the website as well, www.horseracingnet.net. You can read all my thoughts here on the ITV7 in full. You can read my preview for the Charlie Hall Chase as well. And Steve Chambers has given his thoughts on the Champion Chase at Down Royal to boot. Until then, though, we'll be back next week. See you then.